Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Well, let's do an annual review of last year and predict what I hope we're going to be doing, some of the things we're going to be doing this year in the shop. Um, First, last year. First off, when it comes to the YouTube, I've had a substantial, noticeable decrease in the number of viewers per video. And that's okay. I'm not upset about it. It is what it is. I don't do anything other than get on there and just ramble. So if you want to watch, if you're entertained, or if you learn something from here, that's what I'm really doing, is trying to show everybody some of the things that I've learned and some of my creativity ideas and how you can take those ideas and run with them and do some really good stuff too. Um, so uh, let the channel go wherever it's going to go. It does. It's not important to me. I enjoy just doing this. So anyway, and I really enjoy talking to those that keep coming along for this whole thing. It's nice every now and then if you drop me a comment. I saw this last video I did. I was surprised. I heard from several people that I hadn't heard from in a long time. I wasn't sure if they were even still watching my channel. So anyway, I thank everybody for sticking it out with me. I still got lots of things I want to do and talk about. Last year, some of the projects I did that were success was my workstation for my electronic stuff. I think I love it. That thing has really turned out to be very handy to have. And I'm also doing my hot gluing, and I'm doing some wood carving at that station too. So that station is really going to be a nice place to have as an additional area to work. Uh, my Ryobi projects were a lot of fun, I have to tell you. And I learned a lot about the Ryobi and the Ryobi battery last year. And at this point, I'm going to, well, we'll talk about what we're going to do this year in a minute. But those are the two projects that I really am most pleased about. I did a lot of different things. I didn't finish my miter saw um, fence that I was creating because I think I've been using it as it is, and I found that I think I want to change some things on it. So when you see the improvements, I think you'll like it too. So let me show you what we've decided, the change we made when I go back to doing that, because we're going to go back to that table saw. We're not done over there. Um, and that project is something I hope to get into this year. I also want to do a multi-battery power pack where I can take several Ryobi batteries and stick them all into a power pack, and I can run either 200 watts for 48 hours, let's say, or I could run 1500 watts for 20 minutes from that same pack. So I want something that's really going to be volatile, and I can put anywhere from 1 to 6 batteries in the pack. I don't even have to use all 6. But it's a place where I can rotate batteries in and out and charge them while I'm still using the battery pack. So the battery pack is just going to be for power, and you don't charge the batteries in that battery pack. You will take them out and charge them in their conventional way of charging them. So that way you can use the unit with batteries and still be charging other batteries at the same time at some plug-in location. And I think I like to keep that separate, the power pack versus having to how to charge it back up when you're done. Most of these generators, solar generators, you have to plug it in to charge it up. And while you're charging it up, that means that you got to be close somewhere plugged in. So you got to have an extension cord just to use it remotely. Anyway, I want to separate the battery, be able to take the battery out, stick another battery in, and continue using it. And I want to be able to get a little bit larger out of those batteries. So also making some improvements to my two 12-volt battery pack systems that I have, my 100 amp hour and my 32 amp hour systems. I'm be doing some electrical work this year between the Ryobi battery pack and this other, and we'll talk about it as I go along. Some of the things I have learned about the Ryobi system and how it works and what you can do and can't do with it. So I think you'll be very interested. If you're curious about how to take your batteries and use it for something else, you want to stay tuned for that sort of thing. I think the other thing I did is George, a good friend of mine, who we've gone back and forth on a couple of different things in the past. And I'll leave a link to his channel in the description so you'll know who I'm talking about, George. He's out of Canada, and he is quite the fella. Anyway, he and I approached him last year and said, why don't we try to do a project? And we saw this project of this Swift knot that was for sale. And what it's for is on marine docks to help moor up a boat to a dock. And it's just a slip rope that goes through 2 holes, causing the loop, and then you can tug it into a little V to lock the rope in. It's actually a pretty simple little unit, and it seemed to work for boats. But that thing was just huge. You got to have a pretty large rope going through it. And it's just my opinion, but when you look at the price, you think about how I probably thought about that price of that little unit that they had. Anyway, I approached George. I said, hey, why don't we do a collaboration about that little Swift knot? Only we want to do 2 things different. Do one thing different. We want it to be smaller. We want to be able to use it on a cord, like a 1/4 inch or paracord size. Because that other one is so big, it's only for really big 1/2 inch and bigger rope to go into. So we wanted to make a mini version of it. And I says, he likes to do his 3D printing. So I said, you do one in 3D, I'll do one in wood, and we'll compare notes when we're done and see how it comes out. Well, we came to find out one thing, and that is that doing one of those in plastic isn't too bad a deal. It works. It actually works pretty slick. So George is going to have to show that to you, since I don't have that. But on mine, it was a complete failure. And the reason it was a failure, and I was so glad he finally figured it out, it was driving me crazy. I destroyed 2 pieces, cutting and shaving and trying to get them to work till I finally destroyed them. So I went through 2 prototypes trying to make it work. But what's wrong with the idea of doing it in wood is you don't have the friction factor in wood. It's a pretty slick material that you can slide on very easily. So if you put that rope in there, it just never really gripped good enough to be able to carry a load. If you wanted to tie something down, it would slip on wood. And I tried everything. Tried everything twice, actually. So anyway, so it ends up being a failure. It's something that you can't do in wood without doing a couple of things that would have taken us away from the criteria of making it to be exactly like the Swift knot. No moving parts, and made out of only the one material. So you can't do that with the wood, as it turns out. Now, I can very easily change it by putting some kind of pincher on it to hold the rope so it doesn't loosen up. Or I could easily use a friction material right at the point where that rope goes in, so that when it comes through, it's rubbing on that like pieces of sandpaper in between. Then that thing would not slip. It'd give you a better grip. Then it would work. But that was not in the criteria when we started. So it turned out we learned something. You can do that, but if you're going to do it in wood, you're going to have to do more than just wood. You can't do it 100% wood, which was my original thought on the thing. Anyway, it was a lot of fun doing the project. I learned several things about that, like I said, about making it, and it's really very entertaining. If you want to know what George learned, you have to ask him about it. I talked to him about it. He wanted just me to do it all, and I thought, no. I think he felt bad because he thought I failed, and I was embarrassed about failing. But honestly, I'm not embarrassed about that at all. We learned something, is what I see. So, encourage him to put out a video to show you how he did it and what he learned from it. I think you'll learn some pretty interesting things about making that Swift knot in a mini version. So anyway, George, I really appreciate that we did that together. It was a lot of fun. Even though it didn't turn out to be the double video like I'd hoped it would be, we still learned something out of it. And I get to talk about it and you get to talk about it still. So ball's in your court. You can do what you want, or you can just let it go if you want. That's okay too. So, but I think it's worth a video. And so anyway, tell him what you think if you want. Leave him a message, and we'll just go from there. Anyway, that was my one failure last year that I really had in the shop. Other than that, it was a pretty good year overall. It was a lot of fun. I didn't do near as much in the shop as I did years past. So anyway, this year, I want to finish up. First off, I'm going to finish up my OTB bandsaw box series. And I've decided to do a couple of things. I still got like 3 videos I want to make, because I want to make one on how to make a multi-compartment drawer. I showed you how to make a singular one, but we're going to make one that has a little built-in tray and everything, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the bandsaw box spirit of things. I also want to get into talking about flocking, doing a suede finish inside, a spray. There's a lot of things about it that people do know, but there's some things about it most people don't know that I do, that I want to share with you that might change your opinion about using flocking, because flocking has some, and that's the other thing. I've used it for some things that will surprise you. So stay tuned. We're going to have another good, at least one episode on flocking before we're done. So, and there's a couple other things we want to go over about making a bandsaw box. So we got at least 3 more videos to go. So get your coffee, get it ready, and those videos will be coming this year. I also, like I said, I think I'm going to take the Ryobi battery and make a multi-pack this year, where I can plug in anywhere from 1 to 6 batteries in and run this battery pack from those batteries. When they run low, I can take them all out, put 6 fresh ones in or 2 fresh ones in while I'm charging up to 6, and just rotate them so that wherever I'm using the battery pack, I don't have to plug it in to charge batteries while I still want to use it. I'll just rotate batteries in and out. That's the advantage of this type of system over most of those power battery packs that you can buy, because with those, you have to take it somewhere and plug it in to charge it, and then you have to take it somewhere else to use it. So that means that you got to have a pretty long extension cord to use it and to charge batteries so that you never run out of power with them. The Ryobi interchangeable battery will solve that problem. And I don't know why they don't make battery packs where you can buy the battery packs separately and just plug them in and out, so you can charge the batteries somewhere else while you're doing there. There is one company that's starting to do that, but you're also talking about doing that on the $2,000 plus level of generators. I think you could do this on a very good level at a lower power area, like on the small solar generators, like 500 watts or less. You can use the Ryobi to get interchange batteries. So anyway, there's a lot of things about Ryobi I'm not done with yet either. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to do some of that there. Also, I just finished. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this one, don't you? My little flashlight. I did it in my apron. What's in my apron thing? It's something I made, and I still use it around the shop. It's a handy little thing, but I just made this as a humorous item, unique. So the other day I was watching Make Things, and I'll leave a link to his channel also, so you'll know who I'm talking about. He makes some wonderful stuff. It's a great channel to be subscribed to if you're not already. Anyway, he wanted to make a small awl, scratch awl, and make a palm one where it fits in your palm, a small bulb and a short needle on the end, so that you get close to it, can use it with one hand and use it, and it fits in your hand when you're using it. And so he encouraged others to show their design of it. So I decided, in the OTB spirit of things, I would make my own. So I'm going to send him pictures of this one. This is pretty simple, but the difference is, instead of just being this ball in your hand to hold, I have a place. When you get older, it's kind of nice to have a place to have your fingers to help hold something. So I can actually hold this thing, use any 2 fingers I want, and I can do the same thing to get it lined up. And because it's shorter, so that's what a short awl is for, so that you can get easier and closer to putting it. This one has the little that, so you have that, so you can do easier on twisting it and pulling it in and out. And you still have the option of being able to put it in and spin it to do something with it if you want. So I kept the round part. The length of this will depend on the size of your hand as well as these holes. If you're interested in how I made this, I'll go over this with everybody, but it's really nothing special. It's just a 1-inch dowel. And here's the template. And it's just 2 of those holes cut out. So I just cut out this part of it, template it and cut that part out, and I just put them together on a dado. So anyway, it's easy to make, and I thought it was kind of a cute idea, so I thought I'd send that to him as my version of a shorty all. So for old people that don't hold on to things quite as well. So anyway, that's going to be, in fact, that's my first project of this year. Wow. So I'm going to be doing that too, sending that to him. But I think that's everything I can think of. I am going to go back to my miter gauge fence because I have some really great ideas now that I've been using it for a while. Somehow I want to make some changes in it, and I think you'll like the changes. So let me get that going again here too before this year's out. And so if you're interested in seeing what I do with the table saw, stay tuned, and we'll go over some of that, what we're doing over there too. So we got lots of things that we're going to be doing. If you have some idea or something, leave it in the comments anywhere. I do read them all, and more importantly, I do really think about them. Sometimes I don't respond as quickly because I'm thinking about what you told me, and sometimes I'm thinking about 3 or 4 different things at one time. Make sure that I come up with the OTB answer, I guess you'd say, unless it's a straightforward question. So I do enjoy getting in. So if you have something you want to try to get into, just leave me a suggestion, and we'll kind of see if we can figure it out. Maybe we can get George to help out, try to get some of these ideas going. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming by. I think that's kind of where I'm going this year. So stay tuned, and we're nowhere near done around here, I'll tell you that. So anyway, any comments, thoughts, just leave them down below in the description area. If you learned something here or you like this video, hit that like button. Lets me know that I'm doing something right. Most importantly though, please come back again, because we're nowhere near done. Thanks. Hey, we'll see you guys again soon.